Greetings and welcome to this week's aBlogtoWatch Weekly. How are we all? Ariel, Ripley, David, a crescendo of how are you all? On the count of three.
I'm living inside of the watch industry. That's what I do.
Well, you're in the bubble.
Imagine the watch industry was like a big rainforest tree. I'm a
like
small
the Truman Show.
Organism inside. No, not that. But okay.
No,
different metaphor.
Was there a watch in the Truman Show? Feels like there would have been, but I don't remember.
Sure.
Was there? Did they have a watch? Ripley, David, how are you? You're living
no
inside
complaints. I'm now wondering what kind of watch was worn on the Truman Show.
Yeah, I think that
it's
needs
a Hamilton.
Of course it was.
Yeah, a gold elongated cased Hamilton, apparently.
Right, okay. Oh, there we go. Ripley, before we get started on our watch chat, which obviously we get to really, really quickly each week in this show, Ripley, I have a knife question. It's not so much a knife question for you as something you will find particularly amusing. First of all, how many knives have you got on the desk in front of you?
In front of me right now?
That you can see, okay, even just that you can see from where you're sitting. Is it like Game of Thrones where you are?
No. 2 knives, 2 swords, and a slingshot.
Just like brilliant. So our kitchen knives are quite blunt. Moved into a new house.
Your laws suck.
I know. We thought we'll go. That's right. Well, it gets worse. It gets funnier. We thought we'll go to the shop and we'll buy some knives. So we go to big major UK department store called John Lewis, the equivalent of a kind of Macy's or whatever, but big department store, big kitchen section, big display of knives, lots of varieties, some German knives, some Japanese, all good stuff. So we ring the bell for customer service and the woman comes up and says to us, so we say, well, can we have a look, what it feels like? Because there's nice metal handles and plastic handles. No, we can't. You're not actually allowed to touch the knives before you buy them. You can buy them, touch them, and if you don't like them, return them. But we can't actually open the cabinet to let you hold the knife prior to buying it. We can give
Don't
you
you feel safer already?
I do. I'm like, so I said to him, look, is a high risk of being attacked by an obviously, middle-aged married couple? We're just going to go tonto as soon as you hand us the knife. And apparently it's only in Scotland. So
you just raised so many alarms by saying that. You know that,
right? Apparently we're slightly more psychopathic than the English because this is a uniquely Scottish law, as it turns out. Anyway, that's the knife. So what would you recommend as a kitchen knife brand-wise?
Well, no, you make this their problem. You buy every single knife they sell. Every single one. Open them right in front of them. Touch all of them. Return them all and say none of these were it.
That's a really good idea.
Go ring your merchant processor and pay those fees.
That's particular. I want you get to keep your 0.1%. I particularly like that. That appeals to me in a kind of visceral sense.
Yes, and then when they look at you and they say, like, why have you done this? You could say, we could have cut this off right at the head. You could have just let me touch them.
That's what they were worried about. They were worried about me cutting things off right at the head.
Maybe
that was what the problem was.
Who's the guy in the 20s that had the crazy fit in the knife store?
Yeah, no, somebody's
he was really polite, but then when they handed him the knife, oh my gosh.
There were no signs beforehand.
He had a top hat and everything.
Anyway, there we go. So my point of this conversation, apart from telling you some of the ridiculousness of the laws in this country, was, Ripley, is there a brand of kitchen knife as a aBlogtoWatch knife expert I should be particularly interested in?
Just get a Victorinox.
Yeah, get a Victorinox. Yeah, I love Victorinox. I actually use a Victorinox bread knife on the aBlogtoWatch cutting board daily, and
you've got an aBlogtoWatch chopping board.
I got one for you. I got one for you right here, Rick.
You send that across. Just don't send it with a knife. That's all I'm saying.
We literally have aBlogtoWatch cutting knives that go with the board.
Right, Ripley, you may excuse yourself from this recording. I want to see the aBlogtoWatch chopping board. Go, quick, run. We're going to play some of that fast, go quickly music in the background while Ripley runs off.
We have 2 milestones coming up. We have the 20th anniversary and the 15,000 articles. Why not use this opportunity to make some fun stuff? aBlogtoWatch farm stuff, aBlogtoWatch kitchen stuff, particularly dull Scottish knives.
And a blog to watch, lawnmower.
There's knife sharpeners. The blog to watch knife dollar.
That's what I need. I need a knife sharpener for the dull knives that they sell us over here. So there you go. So yeah, suggestions in the chat if you've got a particularly good idea of something ridiculous that we should put the brand on to celebrate the anniversary and the number of articles.
But like the good ridiculous that we'll take seriously, not the
ridiculous.
Like, okay.
Yeah, stuff we want to send out. Right, let me see this. Here we go. Drum roll. Drum roll, Ripley. For all of those who listen to the audio only, you're about to miss out.
I use this so frequently. You can see the patina. I'd like to. Yeah, this is
worth more.
An aged radium hue that it's developing here. Yeah. I use this regularly.
Okay. What madness was occurring in the mind of the founder when you came up with the idea of an aBlogtoWatch chopping board?
What do you mean? This is excellent. Just because your country hates knives doesn't mean we can't enjoy proper cutting ware.
We don't like cut tomatoes. We don't like cut cucumber. We like all the fruits whole. You're not allowed to cut anything. We just eat steak.
Your sandwiches must be a disaster. Just a head of lettuce and tomatoes stuck on top.
How do you garden? What do you
slowly? Anyway, right. Let's look at something else. Maybe some watches, or maybe actually no. Let's go to a link that Ripley just sent us to continue the ridiculousness of this morning. This is an auction, and you know how we love...
Not a watch auction, so it's probably way more honest and credible.
This is day one. Tell us about this. This is Rambo's 2008.
So it's problematic.
Mint condition.
It's problematic for a lot of reasons. So allegedly, this is the watch worn by Sylvester Stallone in Rambo. The description lists it as a Panerai Luminor submersible, but as you can tell, this is not a submersible. This is not a Luminor submersible. This is not a submersible. This is a Luminor. So already we're not off to a good start. But you would think, given Sylvester Stallone's relationship with Panerai and how he likes to credit himself for being the one to put the brand on the map, that they would at least have a real one on his wrist in the film. But if you scroll down in the description, it specifically says that it's been designed and branded to look like an authentic Panerai Luminor. And they even go so far as to say that they replaced the battery after filming.
I mean, I think I should buy this because I've always wanted just a battery-powered quartz Panerai.
For $2,000 starting.
Wait, important question. How much does the actual replica of whatever this was trying to be cost?
Right now, maybe about the
like $200.
There you go. There's Stallone's chunky arms on this. I think that's all right. If that really is the prop from Rambo. Okay, it says the reserve's not been met.
I want Stallone to authenticate it.
I want Rambo to authenticate it. Forget about Stallone.
That is
Stallone. All righty. So, best prop watch. What's the most famous prop watch?
Probably the Interstellar one.
You think?
Pretty famous.
I mean,
pretty famous.
I mean,
like in the modern sense.
McQueen's Monaco from Le Mans. James Bond 6538 Submariner from the original Bond films.
Yeah. Fair dues. David, a personal favorite prop watch?
I like the Bond stuff because it's been just tied to all of that, right? For some reason, I recall, I don't know, like something from Back to the Future, like a Casio or something that just really stuck with me for whatever reason. Yeah.
The calculator watches?
Well, they had the calculator, and then Doc Brown had like the Seiko, like the one with the speed. It's not a speed timer, but it's like the digital chronograph thing with the
external
extra
trigger.
Switch. Yeah. So I don't know if he used the extra trigger, but I think he had the watch. But both really good ones.
David looks like he's on the Baileys earlier this morning.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure if that would make things worse or better. To be honest, it's just this heat wave that I've not had too much sleep over the last good number of days. So I'm just off my face.
So what is the temperature in Hungary right now?
Like 3840. It's been for a bit too long. Yeah.
Yikes. Right. Well, while you're grinding your gears about that, you have also been grinding your gears about this.
Yes.
Watch brands on thin ice when chasing external validations. And you know how we love a good external validation on this show. Tell us all about this grinding gears.
Yeah, I referenced the podcast actually, given that, we discussed and mocked about the, whatever it's called, the freaking GPHG, yeah, and all the rest of it. And I call it a back rub circle in the article, which people have picked up on, which is quite funny. I think I think this, a lot of these things need to be said and said repeatedly. So it's good that we mention it on the podcast, but it's also good to have it in writing, I guess. So yeah, it's exactly. So yeah, it's just to highlight the fact how muddy all of this has been when it came to validations, external and internal, and it's just been really, really difficult to keep track of all of these things. So from a customer's perspective, and also from the industry's perspective, in the sense that it's just most of these really don't function all that well when it comes to underlining the actual and promoting the actual quality and performance of these watches.
So which is the most, so you've kind of got, have you got two types of external validation? Those that are dealing with prizes and awards and those that are dealing with performance of the watch. Which of the watch performance ones has lost its credibility the most, or which would you say has the most credibility now as actually being, see if it's got that, it means it's a good watch, tells time well?
That's a really good question. I don't think too many of them perform all that well, to be honest. It's not that it's been a long, steady decline. I mean, the Cosc has tried to rebrand itself and reposition itself in some ways, but at the same time, it's just, you can really tell how the brands are applying the brakes, very steadily when it comes to new measurements and quality control procedures and performance checks, because they're just very expensive. And it's not expensive to do the tests per se, but it's much more expensive to reliably and consistently build movements in large quantities that can meet those, stricter requirements. So this is why I say, to give you a positive example, the master chronometer, I think, is a rather more all-encompassing way of testing watches with a relatively strict performance window for accuracy after exposure to strong magnetic fields. It tests the power reserve, whether or not the watch actually has a power reserve, self-winding efficiency, all these things, if I remember correctly. So I think that's a rather more 360-degree test, which is very nice to see, and that is where I would love to see a great many more watches go.
And is there an element whereby part of the problem is nobody buying a modern luxury, very few people, or a decreasing percentage of people buying a modern luxury watch now actually give two hoots about the timing, because it's all about the brand and what it says about the person. They're not actually worried about what time it is because they've got their mobile phone for accuracy.
I couldn't say. I don't think that's an excuse when watch prices are going up. Then we shouldn't look toward the customer to humor worsening performance.
Yeah, and just because you don't take advantage of something or really take note of it doesn't mean you don't still want those capabilities. You don't buy the Ferrari because you are going to go 200 miles an hour. You buy it because in theory it can, and if you were capable enough, you could drive it that fast. But if it wasn't able to do that, you wouldn't want it. So even if the person doesn't even set their watch, they still want it to, in theory, perform well if they're paying a premium price, or especially if it's tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I just very briefly, for some reason, my microphone has changed to default, so I'm going to disappear for a second while you boys continue this conversation. I'll be back once I've sorted it out.
So I've noticed something interesting in comments. There's definitely a customer out there that really wants these to be accurate, but these people that comment seem to be buying lower priced watches that don't come with these certifications, and then they get upset that inexpensive Swatch Group brand or inexpensive, Citizen or Seiko mechanical isn't as amazing as they want it to be. I don't see a lot of commentary of the people buying the master chronometers and being like, yep, it met my expectations. So there's like a gap there of customers, I think, that are like rich enough not to care, but also, you know, they buy these watches because of certain promises. You know, like I agree with you. Master Chronometer is awesome. I really love it. But I don't know how many people who get it are hyper concerned about the accuracy as much as that person who bought their, you know, first $2,000 mechanical watch and thinks it should be amazing.
Mm. So what are we to do about it? Are these qualifications just an ever-decreasing circle? Or is there somebody riding in from the distance ready to save the appreciation of good watch timing?
Well, I'd rather have there be a ton of these things floating around where there's actually some metrics or some criteria for why it's been awarded this certification versus the awards, which imagine having a best of list without some of the biggest names within that category. Like, we're going to have the Oscars, but we're only going to talk about a few films and probably not that biggest one that was, you know, the biggest release of the year that got all the attention. It seems very strange. So I'd rather have these kind of vague certifications or stamps, third-party stamps of approval, where at least you, if you really wanted to, you could look up, what does this mean? What does a watch need to do to fulfill this? And you have some semblance of what's going on versus what is golden, what some of the GPHG things, I don't even know what the criteria is for what we'd be voting on. It's so vague. This isn't like best whatever watch. I'm challenged. It's the challenge prize. I'm mentally feeling quite challenged by the vernacular surrounding this. I have no idea what it actually means. So I don't know. To me, I'd rather have the certifications vague or kind of nebulous as they may be or poorly understood. And it's up to the brands to communicate why that's better. But when we look at these, I have no idea what any of these watches have in common other than the brands paid X amount to have them eligible for consideration.
Yeah, the only thing they have in common is that all these watch brands have a receipt for £3,500 for entry, if that's how much it is, it's there or thereabouts, for entering the competition. Maybe they didn't even get a receipt, you know.
Here's something I thought about for a while in regard to the sort of testing schemes and things like that, like COSC and such. You're right. There's a level of arbitrariness to it and a level of like, who really cares? But can we imagine how quick it would be before mechanical watches just became unreasonably inaccurate without any of these schemes, right? If there was no COSC and institutions like keeping some people on their toes, these things would just be for show. I mean,
it just
it goes back to like the 15th century like accuracy, right? Like they wouldn't care at all. And I think that that's a lot scarier than these being silly.
That's true.
Okay. There was an article this week on one of the Substats Screw Down Crown, if you're a member of that, then have a look, which was basically analysing all the results of GPHD for the past 25 years.
That's amazing.
And what it told us about it. In fact, that's an interesting point. Does this mean that aBlogtoWatch and GPHD are the same age?
20, not 25.
26 years of GPHG data. How old's aBlogtoWatch?
It'll be 20.
20, all right, okay, so you didn't start at the same time. You didn't both have a good idea.
Self-congratulatory industry events have been around for decades. It's not a new concept.
True. That's fair enough. Okay, right, let's talk about a watch. Let's talk about this, because last week we spoke about a watch and it turns out it wasn't, I'm told from the chat, it wasn't capacitors, it was resistors that were in the watch.
Yeah, I messed that up. My lack of degree in electrical engineering is really failing me now.
Exactly. Should have studied harder at school. But lo and behold,
they still don't do anything. I mean, that's the point, right? They're not functional either way.
They're completely non-functional. But the point is, you know, like buses, two suddenly come along at once. This is the oil-filled circuit board tool art watch, the U-Boat U65 tech review. Now, we're not going to play guess the price of the U-Boat. We're going to play guess the size of the U-Boat. What size do you think this watch is, Ripley?
48.
Yeah.
No. 46.
46. I'm thinking 40. I'm thinking that strap is much wider than we think it is. And this is 48 and a half. David?
Yeah, I was going to go with 48.
48. Ariel, what size is this watch?
I mean, I reviewed it.
Are we talking thickness, though?
Yeah, you reviewed it. That's what I'm saying. You reviewed it, so tell us the answer.
I think it's 44.
Is it only 44? Let's have a scroll down.
Sorry to let you down.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So is it a women's U-boat model? I'm confused. What is it?
It is.
Yes, 44.
She-boat.
18 mil. That's right. The U-boat, the he-boat, and the she-boat. 18 mil thick. Bizarrely.
18 millimeters thick. That's like a whole watch strap thickness.
If you want to have a fun guessing game that I haven't figured out yet, is what does the mystery cover and the caseback do? There's three elements on the caseback. Well, more than that. One of them makes no sense. So the one that has the big plus, I don't know what's under that.
Is that for the oil? Is that for the oil change?
I don't know. Maybe. I'm afraid.
No.
Has
it's
it
probably
got
the one in the center.
So look, there's the main one.
Battery.
There's the overall big one, right? And then there's the two smaller ones. And then the thing in the center is actually how you set the time.
Really?
Wait,
hold on a second.
You just poke it?
Uh-huh.
What? You poke it, and what does poking it do?
It advances it.
It just moves, right? Okay,
you got to be really good. You got to take off the stylus at just the right time. It's very exciting.
Is it not going to be a bit curious when you take your watch off, and not only have you got the circle because you've had it on so tight in order to stop a 44 mil, 18 mil thick watch moving around your wrist, but you're going to have these two other dimples on your wrist. One of them is going to have a cross on it if you're wearing that too tight. Why are these not flush to the case? That would seem
the way the cross is done almost makes it seem like this would be an easily accessible notch, similar to the battery hatch. And I cannot imagine why you would want a different hole in the watch to be easily opened up.
And is this water resistant?
Sort of.
It's also 500 meter. Is that 50 meters or 50 at?
No, it's 50 feet.
50
this is a dive style
meters.
Watch. Oh yeah, 50 meters. Sorry, dive style
meters.
watch you cannot dive with.
Yeah, you would have thought if they put
and
less
it's filled with oil, so the whole thing just defeats the purpose.
Art.
Oh,
right. Okay.
Look at it.
Yeah, I mean, there are watches from the 1970s, as you say, Ripley, whose straps are thinner than this whole watch is. Thicker.
It looks like one of those psychedelic frogs from the profile, basically. With its eyes on the side.
The more you wear it, the more you love it.
I think it probably is a watch you would actually love. You'd go like, everybody else would hate it.
Nobody. I wanted people to comment it. No one anywhere. No one said a thing. It's so ridiculous. I think people are afraid of it.
Good.
Were you not tempted to open up the back, put a little coin in there, and see what that second hatch is for?
I would be. Yeah.
I was trained by Bell and Ross, who had a wonderful message on the back that said, "Do not unscrew this," and I learned that permanently.
But it didn't have that message on it, so I figured it's okay. If it's not got the Bell and Ross warning, do not unscrew this screw on it, then I figure it's okay to unscrew it. Is U-boat
the type of brand to put the warning? Or they're like, let's just see what happens?
It's when you go through, like, you're taking this through airport security, and you have to take the watch off to put in the tray, and it goes through the tray, and they go, that's given a really strange reflection on the X-ray machine because it's filled with oil, so it's presumably completely opaque, or it'll do, and it looks like it's got little electronic parts in it, and it's a reasonably sized piece of kit, and it comes out the other end, and the security guy's going, I'm a bit confused by this, and then he realizes that there's a hatch on the back that seems to be easily accessible with a coin. I'm sorry, you're not getting allowed on an airplane with this thing.
I had like a funny thought when I was wearing this a lot, that you would go to the U-boat website if you needed service, and they have this drop-down menu of like what your reason is, and there would be things like, my watch leaked all over my pants. The airport made me return it.
Airport security made me open it up and disassemble it.
My family's afraid my watch is going to explode.
18 millimeters thick. How much liquid is in this? If it exceeds the 3.5 ounces by TSA.
That's pretty funny.
You ain't getting on a plane. I am curious.
It's called U-boat for a reason. Only, not even above water, only underwater, and you're allowed to cross the Atlantic.
But think of the oil slick. You'd get sued by some environmental group if this leaked all over the oil. It would be a noticeable environmental disaster.
It'd be like BP again. Oh no.
Best marketing for U-boat ever.
I'm curious.
The U-boat oil slick.
Yeah.
I love this watch. I don't know why, but I do.
if you happen to work either as a radiologist or in airport security, could you tell us what?
Or you have the Radio Shack fortune.
Or yes, I'd be interested to know as to what you think this U-boat would do when put
you remember
in
Tandy?
an X-ray scanner, as to what you would see in airport security. I'm almost tempted to say, can we borrow one and somebody go on a flight? I volunteer not to be me. There we go. I mean, that's going to have to be a pretty... I mean, look how much pressure you've had to put that right up to the final hole in that strap to get that watch to not rotate.
You want it to be
wrist.
snug. That's true.
That's cut off the circulation, to be sure.
It's comfortable, and the lugs articulate. Okay, you have to understand the lugs articulate.
They'd have to be fair. So, how much is this beast?
You know what? It could have been more. Still a lot.
Can always be more.
Could always be more.
$2,400. Sure. When was the last time we looked at the U-boat website? I feel that's something that's been missing from our lives.
Oh, get ready for the chimera.
Let's have a look at this. The U-boat website, Dark Moon Kama, whatever that is.
Oh boy.
They have lizards. There are lizards or salamanders.
Oh, this is the one. This is the watch where the crystal changes color and goes black in the sunlight or something.
I love Italian marketing so much.
To be fair, I quite like that concept. That's like one of those T-shirts back in the 80s that changed color when you touched it with heat. Why does this change color?
Do you like the name of the designers on the hands? No one else would do that but him.
Is that right?
Italo Fontana. Oh, there we go. A little AI action in there.
Yeah, a little bit AI.
Yeah, makes no sense. Transformers. Yeah.
Thank you for the heat wave U-boat.
some expensive AI there.
Is there a disclaimer? None of this comes with a watch or is real.
Oh, you can buy the strap separately. How heavy do you think a U-boat bracelet is? Good grief. That's going to be enormous. A U-boat bracelet weighing in
measured in actual pounds.
A little tiny. Can you imagine putting a mesh bracelet of gold, tiny, thin, skinny thing on a U-boat watch? That's a look. There we go. Yeah. Who owns U-boat?
Italo Fontana.
Is that
person right on the hand?
That's the man.
How many more times should it say on the freaking watch?
I thought that was just saying it was kind of.
Does it not sound like a name? It's just some type of like.
It just sounds like
it's a fountain in Italy.
Stereotype.
It sounds like Vorsprung durch Technique, but for Italian big watches.
I know. That's actually
Italian
his name.
fountain. Oh right, that's his name. Italo. That's like being named
Italo Fontana.
That's like your Hungarian president who's named Magyar. Is that not the same sort of thing?
Yeah, that's technically true.
Yeah, and Arsene Wenger, who's called Ars after Arsenal. But anyway, there we go. Right, I quite like this, but that's probably something I shouldn't confess publicly. Right,
I don't want to turn purple every time I wear this watch, so no, thank you.
Well, that's
Do you want to hang out with the chameleon all the time that thinks there's a clock?
You'd have to tighten the strap so tightly your wrist would probably fall
so
off.
Beautifully random.
Your arm would go purple. Right, what else have we got that we should have a wee look at here? Let's do this, because we like a good ProTek. ProTek Series 4000. This has Breitling Endurance vibes. Oh, I've got a Breitling Endurance story if I can find it. Somebody finally posted about what, you know how they advertised the Breitling Endurance as friction proof. I don't know if you ever remember that. When they, and it's like, well, what does that mean? Well, somebody finally posted a picture of them having fallen off, scraped the Breitling Endurance all the way along the street, and then it being completely unscathed by tarmac, hence proving it's friction proofless. But ProTek, some nice orange.
So I took a screwdriver and I nicked the bottom of a bright light case just to see what if that would scratch it, and it totally scratched it. So apparently the friction does not exceed a watchmaker screwdriver. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. ProTek.
So this is the 4000 series Aggressor. This uses the same case blueprint as the 4100 series USMC models, which are the ones done for the Marines. But this takes it in the non-tactical direction. So while it's the same fundamental case, movement, what have you, they've gone for colorful dials, and it's much more in a sporty... Oh yeah, big tritium loom. So these aren't the normal tritium tube bars. These are these like big fat rectangular ones. They call them T100 versus the T25 ones. They're quite a bit bigger. And
somebody's watching too many Terminator movies. But
they're pretty cool. They make some big lights. But what I like about these is since the brand started, it was very much in the military tactical first responder realm. And I'm just not a very tactical person. So it's, me overclad in camo and military stuff and USMC. It feels borderline stolen valor to comical on someone like myself. So, while I like the watches, they do a really good job with them, like, dense carbon in the cases and all of that. Some of the models were just too tactical for me. And so I like that they're expanding their world. They have the energy drink ones that were on previous episodes. They have these so they're expanding the world into be more of the outdoor sports watch realm, which I think is a completely different side of the coin, but still, the same things that would make a good watch for military first responder type of people would also be good for camping or sports uses. So this is the same burly carbon case dive watch with big tritium tubes, but now you can have it in a color that isn't camo or USMC branded.
I do like the idea of stolen Valor in watches. Which watch brand has stolen the most Valor?
Panerai, because they were funding back in the day. They built their reputation by supplying instruments to the opposition of the one they are now championing in their military heritage, which is the Navy SEALs. So. I think that one's pretty tough, but I mean, if I was wearing an Italian Swiss watch that was a tribute to the Navy SEALs, as someone who has nothing to do with any of those things, I would feel slightly ridiculous, even if the watch was awesome.
They're just acknowledging who won the war.
So look out for the Luftwaffe watch coming soon. In the chat, just catching up because the chat is finally started working. aBlogtoWatch, knife blunting tool, watch timing destroying magnet, and a crystal cracker should be the new aBlogtoWatch merch items.
So sandpaper, a hammer, and a magnet. That's what we sell. Okay.
A giant rare earth magnet. One of the ones that you can't hold near other objects because it could crush your hand.
I think, you know how you get these watch repair kits and it's like a little box that's got some screwdrivers and some, I think like the watch destroying kit. Just
like
with
pre-aging
all of these
kit, but like patina? At-home patina?
Yeah.
It's like a ketchup packet, half a lemon in there, some salt.
Some tequila just to use the salt and stuff for later on if you run out.
We'll call it a watch to destroy.
A watch to just,
Out of Order might be interested in selling that as an add-on item. If it's not
don't take work away from the artisans. That's what they do.
David, thoughts on ProTek? $575. It's a good gig.
All I care about is tactical stuff. If it's not tactical enough, then I'm not interested. I want the most poser nonsense, that I can get for my $575.
How do you measure tacticity?
Tactility.
I just look at it and can tell.
I mean, does Ripley who looks more likely to be a guy that can successfully sneak up on someone? Ripley or David? What do you think? Do you think David's eminently more stealthy than Ripley is? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that Ripley's not. I think Ripley's underselling his tactility or whatever it is.
Covert and tactical are two totally different things. I'm a fairly small, unassuming dude. I could probably sneak up on somebody, but I'm not storming anything. I'm not bulletproof anything.
I think someone who's a secret agent, this is exactly what they would say, is that they'd be no good as a secret agent. I think that's the tell, is someone that lacks tactility is exactly the kind of person who would say that they lack.
When is the aggressor ever the good guy?
Discuss.
Sports. So
I'm just saying, it's usually the hero's watch. It's like,
it's a deeply philosophical
party.
question.
Okay, the suggestion that the IWC Flieger is in fact the Luftwaffe watch and has stolen the most Valor. So IWC versus Panerai are currently in the stolen Valor
both Richemont brands. Well, the aggressor name from this one comes from the silhouette of the case. It's sharper, more angular, bigger bezel tabs. It's a more aggressive silhouette than the standard carbon case divers that are smaller. So the name comes from that. But I say it in the article. The name is a bit aggressive to to have on the dial, the aggressor. But especially when the watch itself is almost more playful by the rest of the catalog. But I quite like these. If I had bigger wrists, I think these would totally be my cup of tea.
What if you removed aggressor and just said, "You jerk"?
I mean, I would like one that said, like, I'm trying to bulk up or something. Because, like, if they saw me with this watch, I clearly have aspirations towards being a bigger man, and putting on upper body muscle is hard for me. So I don't know if I'd want like a disclaimer, like I'm headed towards like 250 weight or something.
Trying. Just trying. ... That case does look mostly sharper than most of the knives for sale in Scotland. That has to be said.
It's a cool case. I'm reviewing the other version of this, and I found this case to be very charming.
And what is it? Some sort of carbon composite, or is it just plastic?
It's carbon composite, but it's it uses proper like bars of carbon in it, so you can kind of see the marbly pattern. It's not like the powdered carbon composites. Really nice bezel action. You know, they're very well done. Good amount of threads on the crown, so it's not gonna like easily strip or anything like that. You know, the outer case of it is very well considered, and it feels nice.
It's very and the bezel clicking action. It's actually very good. Very so loud, clicky.
And
yeah.
nice
David remembers? Okay. You can hear it from over there.
That's what I fall asleep to. I just think of the click of this bezel and I'm like asleep immediately. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. So that's the ProTek, yours for just under $600, which seems like not a bad gig. For the price, okay, let's have a look at something which kind of seems a bit similar on first glance, but let's see just how different it is. Ariel reviewed this, the Unimatic Modello Uno UT1-IPN 2-watch celebrating swimming pool summers. Unfortunately, all the swimming pools in Europe have all been drained for drinking water, so I'm not sure where. Yeah, they're running out. The
major water shortage.
The whole of England. Now, I was discussing this yesterday. The whole of England has been declared subject to drought, and I'm like, that seems a bit of an unfortunate word to use if you happen to be living in sub-Saharan Africa. People in England saying, yeah, it's drought conditions here. You're just not allowed to use hose pipes. That's the basics of it. And the grass is pretty brown.
Okay, let me get this straight. You don't have enough water, but because other places have even less water, you feel guilty about it?
Yeah.
That's so European.
Rick, doesn't it always rain in Scotland?
Canadian.
Can't you just push some over to your friends in the UK?
We have plenty of water here. We have plenty of water here. There's no issue in Scotland with water, and we have our own supply here on the farm. So if you're in England and you need some water, feel free to come on up. I'll sell you some from up here.
You're going to have your own migrant crisis. I mean, be careful, sir.
It's okay. Well, I can see the sea from here, but we're a bit of a walk, so I'm not immediately worried about naval invasion.
Can you imagine like 60,000 people storming your property from all sides?
Yeah, that would
Where's
be
all those
interesting.
guns we're not allowed to have? Does anyone have any sharp sticks?
I can't get you with my knife's not sharp enough. Anyway, Unimatic. Ariel, tell us about Unimatic and this particular
you've made this
watch.
Rather, pedestrian summer watch, quite the luxury item, because for those people that have pools they can swim in and not drink, they had 3 colors. For the different, I guess, types of pools out there, you choose the one that matched your pool color. It worked out real well for me. Yeah. Okay. I like the applied hour markers. Yes.
You've got a swimming pool? Huh?
Yeah.
Posh boy.
That's why I wear these pool watches,
Right, okay. Like, so I can only see one color. It's just that you only got to see one color and the rest
there's
on the website.
3 different versions of it. So this is the one.
Okay.
This is that
This is
blue.
version 1.
There was one that was a little bit of a greener color, and you had another one.
Is there like a urine color one for those that pee in your pool?
That's for next summer. Let there be a sequel to it, Right,
okay. Yeah, it's important. A sequel's always important.
This is the water park edition.
That Seiko... whatever VK, whatever quartz movement. So you have quartz, but a sweeping seconds hand. So, there's that element to it, which is nice. Which is, again, these sort of like around the home beater sport watches. You want to jump in the pool. You're like, oh, I got to set my watch. It's already set. I spent a lot of time in the pool with it. It's does what it says it's supposed to do. Better than most watches.
$740. I mean... Unimatic have just leaned into this. We're not really that bothered about the movement. It's all about the design. It's working for them. Are they still ploughing a furrow of that kind of design language that, leans into it looks like a modded Seiko? Is that
it's a good
still
question.
their vibe?
So the simplicity of their design is actually one of the benefits. It allows a mainstream audience to understand these and be into it. But you're right. If you're a watch enthusiast like us, you're going to expect them to change the design or up the ante on a regular basis. And they would argue they do that with different models. But what they do is they release a new watch maybe every month or so. Little tweaks, little different colors, couple of collaborations here or there. It's all very harmonious, looks great together. And they know that not everyone's going to buy every one. But you're right. Eventually, they're going to have to fundamentally up the ante for the people that have been buying their existing collection for years enough. But they're smart people. I think they have that planned. It's a great success for what it is. I think there's really something for everyone here. I can see a lot of consumers being happy with at least a few Unimatics in their collection.
Mm-hmm. It's just interesting that they managed to pull off, the design style of some very obvious other watches without getting labeled an homage or a copycat brand. They've managed to steer that very carefully.
What'd you have in mind? What do you see?
What are the other watches? I'm curious.
That's a Hamilton displayed on the screen. No?
If you say so.
That looks like a Hamilton khaki to me.
Okay.
And every other one of these watches looks like a Seiko. No? They're all Seiko.
No, you need to stop wearing so many Panerais. None of these look like these. If anything, other brands now look like them. Like,
everything. No, okay.
I'm trying to think of another brand that does giant, thick, wide bezels like this, and it's usually Unimatic that gets referenced. And they've, certain things like the geometric hour markers. Well, they've tilted the 6 o'clock a bit so it doesn't look just like a Submariner dial, and they've kind of done this stark. The design is the brand logo thing, so they don't overclutter it with things. But like, they sample a lot of familiar flavors and kind of all roll it up into their own minimalist thing. But I struggle to find any one
watch
watch that looks like a direct copy or homage of anything else.
Okay.
I think Rick has actually given Giovanni the ultimate flattery. It looks familiar, but when asked what they're copying, you're like, I don't know. It just looks like it's always been there.
I mean, that looks like a marathon.
That's pretty good.
Does it not? The Modelo. I've always just seen these as
rubbing
being...
their heads together like, yes, it works.
I've always just seen these as being really like almost like a Bauhaus version, the simplified, knocked down.
Yes, it's an Italian tool.
Okay, I've fallen for it. I've fallen for the trap of Italian. But as someone that wears a Panerai, I've obviously fallen for the trap of Italian marketing and branding and simplicity. I'm clearly the target audience.
You're ready. You're ready for Unimatic.
I'm ready. I have ascended to the peak, and I'm ready for all things Unimatic. Well, go and check that out. Right, I feel like I need a cleanser now. I feel like I need a cleanser. We're going to cleanse the world of some brands. Everybody's favorite segment. There are some
this
people
is your cleanser? Can't you have the green juice like people in LA?
if it's any consolation, Ariel, there are other people that hate this segment just as much as you
I know.
do.
It does not shock me.
And that's why we keep doing it, because it's not my job to entertain you, the good audience. It's my job to have fun myself. And if you happen to have fun too, wonderful.
Why
and
Rick isn't in radio.
Exactly. Why I'm not nationally syndicated. Here we go. The first brand up in this week's Wheel of Death. Oh, H-Moors and C survived that. Glashütte Original. Now, it's already survived, as you can see from the markings on the screen. It's already survived once. But will it survive again this week? We're actually slowly getting
What
through
are
these
the rules
brands.
again? Where we're killing one, we're writing one out of existence, like Thanos. We're keeping one. We're selling one to the Swiss. Like what?
Yeah. Well, no, we changed the rules last week, if you remember, in that David came up with a great thing, which is to go to Joma Shop and see by how much a percentage of these watch brands was available, and that should be our guideline as to which should disappear, which should be killed, which should be forgotten about for 50 years.
Wouldn't we be better off just telling people where the biggest discounts are so they could go search for watches and buy things?
Yeah, you would think that would be simpler, but
literally just like giving Joma Shop free advertising would be a better use of our time.
Well, maybe if we do this often enough, the Joma Shop free advertising will become Joma Shop actual advertising.
I mean, it's just a matter of asking them.
Yeah, we could just ask them, or we could just continue to advertise them for free. I'm not quite sure which you think is a better strategy.
Whatever entertains you more, right?
Whatever exactamundo.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm heading over to Joma Shop now.
Joma
One
Shop,
is Glashütte.
Joma Shop, Glashütte Original, Basel or Basel, no idea how you pronounce it, and MB and F, which I'm guessing maybe isn't available in Joma Shop, but you never know.
It's not.
I don't actually know. So we might have to do something else in order to decide. So which are we killing? Which do we want to disappear for 50 years? And which gets to keep going as it is? I'm not sure I want MB&F to survive this particular game. I think put him to sleep for 50 years.
Who's going to take it over then? It's Max Booster and friends. He won't be alive.
Max Booster's son and friend.
Let it die with him. He doesn't have. He has daughter.
So Max Booster and daughters.
No, he has to let it survive so that it dies with him. It's the only way. Not that he's going to die anytime soon, but
you're going to feel really guilty if this time next week there's a report, especially if it's of a swimming pool accident because somebody jumped in with a U-boat, sank, oil slick. It turned out it was Max. That's not going to be. It's not going to be a good look for the aBlogtoWatch website.
Oh gosh!
No, Max has the Guardian, that robot watch thing that can lift him out of the pool like a transformer.
True. It's been suggesting good luck finding Basel. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Good luck finding Basel in Joma Shop. Do we know what Max's daughter's name is? Is it a fun initial that would go as a replacement for the M? Do we know? Is she named Marie, so it's still the same company? But I don't know.
You're really trying to go with the resurrection of 50 years thing, aren't you?
Exactly. Comes back in 50 years, the grandkids of Max.
I feel like Max Booster and Legacy or something. What would it be?
Sure, it's
just legacy machines from then on. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's just the legacy machine. What do we know about Basel? But do we know how to pronounce them for starters?
You more or less got it right.
It's Australia. I didn't know that. It's an Australian company.
But it's not from an Australian, a Swiss guy that moved there.
Oh, is that a Swiss guy that moved there? Is that what happens?
Christoph used to work at the Swatch Group, I think.
Okay, they're advertising a 55-day window.
So the way they only
to order, that's quite
their whole
period.
model now, and why they can't even advertise with us is they don't have watches until they're ordered. So they refuse to make anything until there's an order.
Okay,
so it's basically like a Patreon, but just watches. Just supporting the guys next few months.
That's not too bad. Mm-hmm. That's a good idea.
That's a nice looking watch, I think.
And the crowns all have this little capsule filled with
Oh, the sand.
body.
They still do that?
Yeah, the sand and the earth material from so it's kind of cool. They do some interesting stuff.
Right,
I mean,
610.
Richard Mill's version of that costs a lot more.
Oh,
Yeah.
basalt, precious layered basalt.
Basalt. So basalt is how we're pronouncing it, right?
No. Basalt is what Richard Mill's. Basalt.
That's one of those words that if you say it too often starts to sound strange. There's a name for that. I can't remember what it is. So I like this. I think this deserves more going. What about Glasshoot Original? We reviewed one last week, got some good reception. Do they deserve to stay? Who should be put? I'm sorry. I think we just kill Max Booster. Sorry, Max. I think we just kill it early. Kill it now. Why wait? What's the point? Just, life's literally too short.
But who will think of the friends?
The friends will just continue.
Who will take care of them?
It'll just be
them.
So it'll no longer be Max Booster
so
and
weird.
Friends.
Why would you choose Max Booster and Friends? A brand that is endlessly entertaining year after year and not freaking. I would put Glossy to sleep.
Okay,
let them
Glasshoot Original.
refresh themselves a little bit.
Okay. But will
I
they?
would get rid of Bozell so that the guy can have an early retirement.
Okay.
And maybe we can just set up a GoFundMe or something where people just send him money and no watch is given.
I like the idea. We're going to kill the watch brand, but we're going to keep the watchmaker alive by just having a Patreon set up for him. Don't just pay him to not make the watches.
Yeah,
I mean that's
a novel concept.
That's ultimately where Swiss watchmaking is going to descend. You pay us Rolex not to make you the watch.
I love how this game turns into David and Rick caring a lot, and me and Ripley being like, "When's the next time coming?"
What is this? David, do you think this is a strangely European thing that we like this game? I mean, maybe I'm assuming too much, and Ripley and Ariel hate this game. Is it a European psyche thing? Do we just like this kind of thing?
Yeah, we know you reject choice, so you hate choosing something, from something else. So
it's fundamental rejection of choice.
No, I like choice. I hate having to limit choice.
It's not that he's actually got no free will. He is a number. He's not a free man.
I like being a number.
Ripley, go on. Do Ariel's bidding for him. What you keeping, what you killing, what you put to sleep for 50 years.
So I think we can kill Bosell.
Hold on, Ariel's just had a fun thought.
I think we can
I
kill.
just liked Ripley's sigh.
I think we can kill Bosell, but we should first have them give them like a 3-month lead time to just draft a bunch of designs. Then we can kill the brand, establish the Patreon as David recommended, where the money can continue to trickle in, and the designs can be made devoid of an actual brand. The money's in, the design exists, the watch can be produced. I'm with you. I don't want to lose MB&F. Every MB&F release, I look at it and go, well, I am entertained. This is not for me. I don't necessarily know how to read it or how I'd wear it, even like that robot thing, but I'm thoroughly entertained. I want to see him keep doing it. And if it ends up becoming just F and no MB at some point in the future, that could be even more interesting. So
that's funny.
A watch. That's right. Just dot and F.
F.me. Like, and then Glasshoot Original, they make nice watches. But I also feel like if you put them to sleep for 50 years and woke them back up, they would still make nice watches and they would still have a place in society.
The same watches.
Absolutely. The same watch. It would be the same watches.
Yeah,
they would
the
literally.
Panorama date would still be vintage inspired. It'd still be really nice. You know?
You're right. You could freeze the entire all the employees and then have them unfrozen in 50 years. They'd go right back to work.
Exactly. They just all fall asleep at their desks. They just all collapse like puppets. They just at their desks. And in 50 years' time, they would just reanimate and continue doing exactly the same thing.
And the best part is no one would complain about the price. No one would complain about the price. In 50 years, your Seiko diver would be like $14K or whatever. And then, their price point would be bang on the money. It's great value.
In 50 years' time. Yeah, absolutely. I think the only fair thing to do with Bozell, Boz, whatever we're calling them, is to use their own counter to put them out of their misery. He's got whatever that movie is where it counts down how many days, those websites you put in how healthy you are, it tells you what day you're going to die. He's got 55 days, 5 hours, 58 minutes, and 36 seconds. And then curtain call comes. Maybe that's how much longer we should commit to playing this game for. We will stop playing this game when this counter reaches 0.
What if somebody suggests a better game?
If you can come up with a better game.
It's impossible.
Made extra funny with the yawn during it. So Glasssuit Original, we're putting to sleep for 50 years. Bazel have got 55 days left, and MB&F are going to continue to entertain us until we no longer say we are entertained. So there we go. That is our game for this week. Right, what else is going on in the watch world? Because it's a quiet week, which is why we lean into these games. Anything else you gentlemen have reviewed or got coming up that you... Oh, actually, no, I've forgotten about this watch. We saved the best to last.
Really?
Yeah, I'd completely forgotten that we had reviewed this. Ariel, the CronusArt Spring Daydream Central Tourbillon Limited Edition watch review.
You like that, huh?
Erotic
Chinese,
donut tourbillon. You had me at donut.
Chinese
Got it right
erotic
here.
watches.
Got it right here.
Have you? Right, okay. I would now like you to describe the various erotic pictures that are shown on this watch, and then challenge Hayden to edit it all back out again.
I don't know that I actually know what's going on in all of them. Some of them I look very closely, and I'm like, it's not a matter of detail. I don't understand
the perspective. I just don't get the perspective.
No.
I'm sure I've asked you this, but why is the donut watch the blueprint or the foundation for the erotic watch? I feel like these are two kind
Food
of
and sex.
Yeah, there's not a lot of over. I mean, there's a hole in the donut, but I just want to know like how this concept came to be. Is there a backstory behind it?
You've basically, A, you've got to watch out for double entendres when reviewing this watch. B, it's like money. If you look too closely at it, you suddenly realize it doesn't work. If you look too close at this, you're like, no, this is just getting worse and worse. I mean, Cronus, donuts, big love.
Let's look at the polarity that exists here. We have the situation, especially in Europe.
Ariel is now going to do a deep dive review of this watch. Right? Give us the highest level intellectual review of this watch you've ever given of any watch. Pretend you're writing a 5,000-word essay.
In Europe and to an extent Japan, the typical watch designer is just so stifled all the time. No, very stifled. The biggest complaint is all I get to do is slightly shift proportions and change colors. I never get to do what I want to do. And then the guys that get to do what they want to do, they end up having to charge like $200,000 and up for their watch just so it looks a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then you have over in China where everyone's like, oh, it's all repressive. And they have the ultimate power. They can make whatever the hell they want. Right? Like, no, there's no limits. Just like, all right, see if the market likes it. Like, even more than Japan, just like, they hold nothing back. And so this began with the Central Tourbillon movement and someone looking at it. And then I imagine thinking to themselves, donut. I don't know where the erotic part come in, but men are horny. So there's that.
I just
don't ask. The cherries, I'm confused.
You need to go so you can go and watch this show on YouTube and on Spotify.
I get the cherries. Is that a lemon?
There's a picture. It looks like tomato.
No, little cherries and the man grabbing a woman's
what's
rear.
the thing on the
what's
E?
that?
That's like a lemon or something.
Between the V and the E.
Yeah, it's like a lemon.
Oh, that. I didn't even see that fruit. That is... Yeah,
it's a forbidden. There's a picture.
What type of donut fruit? A yuzu? Maybe it's a yuzu.
Yeah, is that
a sexy
popular,
fruit?
Popular Swiss fruit. There's a picture being shown here of what is clearly supposed to be somebody grabbing a woman's buttocks.
Yeah, I got a lot. There's a lot of different pictures here.
The perspective is all very weird. Like
Okay, that's the one that you could identify. There's other ones on here that I have to look at for so long, and I'm like, what is going on? You have to go to the website. This little animation. There's the one that I looked at for honestly an hour, and then I realized it's a man putting his thumb in a woman's mouth. That was just very hard to determine.
And we're sure it's a thumb. We've established that fact.
Yes,
right, okay,
yes, we have, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
We've made that crystal clear. Right, okay. So, who's buying this watch? And how
People
much
love donuts and horniness, probably.
Well,
That's
we know that in the past, when the Swiss luxury brands, Ulysse Nardin, Blancpain, showed us their, erotic watches, the good old days of Baselworld, they always said to us, not just that these are popular in Asia, but 100% of them go to Asia. We don't know why, but it does not surprise me that there's an interest in these there. Since we don't have that interest here, I just find it's hard to relate. I can't look at it and be like, yep, I know who's buying that. I don't know. Here's the weirdest thing to me. There is an hour scale around the periphery of the watch, even though there's no hand that touches it.
It's basically an MB and F watch. What was that? It's got the hours round the side.
But you could tell the hours. This does not have a corresponding indicator. Imagine having an hour scale with no hand that runs against it.
Okay, well, we'll go to the actual Cronus website.
CronusArt.
I suspect this is going to be a really bad idea, but let's go and have a look.
Their stuff is all over the place. They've actually... They advertised a much less expensive watch.
The brown one, I am concerned about the brown one. That's
it looks more like a donut.
Okay, I'll grant you that. I'll grant you it does look more donutty.
There's still a lemon on this one too. A yuzu.
It's
a little citrus,
It's a little citrusy, yes.
A little tanginess spicy to that. Big love.
I don't understand why, when it's all about donuts, they're then showing macarons.
Because
as part of the art.
The photographer lacked the ability to buy donuts. I
Donuts.
think that's
There are
really
no Dunkin' Donuts in China.
Harder to find,
but there are plenty of French patisseries that you can buy macarons from.
Yep.
Okay. Sweet Rebellion worn on the wrist.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a video. Okay, I'm going to try. I'm assuming there's probably loud music, so I will try and...
Why do you think there'll be loud music?
But I'm just guessing. I'm going to try. It's probably going to be the end. What's that track from that band? Actually, Big Love.
I'm hoping for some traditional Chinese music is what I want to hear.
No, it's probably... What's the name of the band named after the drummer? Fleetwood Mac. It's probably the end sequence from Fleetwood Mac, if I've got any. So I'm going to try and mute it as quickly as possible. There we go. There is okay. I think this deserves no commentary whatsoever, personally. Is there music? No, there is no music.
Does the donut turn or is it stationary?
Donut does not turn, but there's two rings. There's not one ring, there's two rings. There's an hour ring and a minute ring.
What? Okay, so what?
There's more rings than that. That's
how do you know what hour it is? Wait, how do you know? I'm just
okay. So if you look at roughly the 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock position, the 11 o'clock position on the case. That's the hour hand. Tassel. That's a nipple tassel. That took me so long to figure out. Oh my God, I have no idea. That's so hard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And you can get 5% off. You can
at 23 after the hour, it's nipple o'clock.
I'm having to resist so many inappropriate jokes right now. But anyway,
don't resist. Right. That's what this watch is for. It's all about letting go.
Yeah. Okay. It's about letting something.
Yellow cherry style.
Go. Yeah. Okay. So, who in your life are you or who?
That's the one. That's the thumb in the mouth.
So it is.
That was so hard for me to see. I did not know what that was for so long.
Okay. It's been asked in the chat. Yes, it does actually show the time, sort of. Although we're yet to see it on the video. I'll fast forward the video. And
I think it should have had no time. That would have been funnier to me. Just the tourbillon.
Yeah, you can tell the seconds and that's it. So there we go. I don't actually know how you switch this video off. There we go.
But look at their other watches because they have nothing to do with this. They're all completely different.
The other watches are so it's a Richard Mille
so that's
rip-off.
the one. That's the one that was just advertised. A few $100.
That's actually all right. Looking,
it's cool.
It's pretty cool.
That's okay. The Avant-Garde Horology Supercar DNA CronusArt RTO 6001
carbon fiber sports car.
Yeah. What could possibly go wrong there? And then, there's this CronusArt Voyager, this kind of double movement.
That looks like an awesome
number. That's all. I mean, if you like,
that's pretty cool.
If you like this sort of thing, there's the big love, all the central tourbillons you could ever wish for. More kind of Korome type stuff. Oh, what is this? This is a kind of what's the Atelier Wen type rip-off with a tourbillon on it.
Kinda.
And what was the watch reviewed last week with the battery, the tuning fork watch?
Accutron?
A bit like the Accutron. That's a bit Accutron-y, the supreme
not
treasure.
at all. No way.
How?
It's kind of K-shape, and the way that the dials are. I see Accutron in that.
Okay.
Am I having a stroke? Is this the problem? All I see is Seikos and Accutrons.
Is that the manifestation of having a stroke? You're right. You're having a stroke.
And I smell toast as well. But there we go. Right. So there you go. That's the big love from CronusArt.
You love it.
Who not in your life are you? I'm wondering, maybe this is like Benny from Crossroads. Do you think he's trying out his design with CronusArt? See what will float for his new watch brand when he opens it up. I'm not sure what we're going to do with this, but there we go. There's the CronusArt.
I'm happy to not see this watch ever again until I have a donut.
Until you have a donut. Yeah, more donuts, less erotic watches, please.
Should we give Huey that watch, Ripley? Is that the donut lover watch?
I love. Oh yeah. I was gonna say Huey might really like that watch.
We found someone that needs that watch.
Who's Huey? Tell me about Huey.
A donut lover. Who? Yeah. Likes donuts.
He rolled up to a night hike with 14 donuts for me, him, and Ariel.
Oh, that's the kind of guy I can get on board with.
Yeah.
I need him in my life. I'll even buy him a watch in exchange for the donuts. That's absolutely fine. Do you think Mr. Leno would appreciate a CronusArt watch in his life? I think that's the guy you need.
I think he would consider it a non-serious timepiece.
You think?
Yeah, I think that would be the conclusion.
Ariel, what are you trying to bring me here? What are you trying to do to me? What trouble are you trying to get me into? I don't
think it would even go that far. I think it would be like, no.
I want to know what box it comes in. Because I'm figuring
a clear box, an acrylic box that I think has, you could just see. I think that, no, maybe another one had that box. No, the box wasn't donutty.
I'm hoping that so it's not like a donut. You know how you get those watch cases?
They haven't committed that much to the donut concept. Okay,
right? Okay, they're committing more to the erotic concept than the donut. Yeah. Than the donut concept, right? Okie doke. Right, I think that's going to be our show for this week in terms of actual watches to review, because there's not a lot going on. Unless, gentlemen, you have something great to reveal about what's happening next in your watch world this week.
Oh, I'm going to see Padel. I'm going to see the Padel paddle. I think Ripley's going to be their championships.
Right. I've never heard it called Padel. Sure, it's just called paddle.
I have no idea.
Right, okay. The first question you ask is, can you tell us how to pronounce this? It's basically big table tennis.
Because we have a word paddle, and then they changed the spelling, and I'm like, did you change the spelling because the pronunciation is also different? You know, that's my rationale.
Okay. Right. Have you ever played the game?
No. I played a lot of similar games, but like this is the most confusing racket net game in existence. Okay. There's a court, but that court does not designate the exterior of the game. Outside of this court is also in play, and you have to run out a door to get to it. I have no idea how this game works. I'm so excited to see it.
It's very rare that there is ever a move where you can both get out of the cage. It's like tennis meets MMA. Well, you know they fight in cages. It's very rare that you can get outside the cage quickly enough with the ball going in the right direction that you can return it spectacularly back into the cage and over the net at the same time.
But the fact that you can is what makes it special.
Feasible. Yes, it is feasible.
Could you imagine in soccer if like there's no out of bounds, you can go play that from the parking lot if you can get it over the wall.
If you get there. Is that not how American football works? That
We make up the rules as we go along, and then we need a lot of stopping breaks.
Right, okay.
For us, the rules are the sport. We barely care about the playing. It's all about the rules.
David, have you ever played padel?
I'm not interested. It's a sport nobody asked for. You know, we have ping pong and tennis. You know, why do you need something in between after squash and whatever?
We have computer games and we have indoors. We don't need any more of your outdoor sports. That's fine. It's
Our
very
perspective
popular in this
is, hey,
country.
watch brand, you're sponsoring it. Sell us on why to care.
Okay. Which watch brand is sponsoring it?
I think it's Frederic Constant.
Frederic Constant does a lot with the world of paddle.
We don't
we're going to
know.
pronounce it.
Yeah.
But I'm now curious to ask these players, what makes a good paddle watch? Like what?
I mean,
what
it's
metrics?
I don't know. I mean, it's a G-Shock. It's like most things, it's just a G-Shock. But my question is,
World Timer.
It's very, very popular. Frederic Constant World Timer, just what you need. It's very popular in this country. Like, it's a huge sport in this country now. Mainly
because there's no sharp objects.
Because there's no sharp objects. It's the most deadly.
But still dangerous.
The bat is hard and heavy. The ball is soft and squishy. It's everything about British society that you need to know is summarising this sport, and it's got slightly obscure rules. And I don't think we invented it in the way that we invent most sports. We may have invented it. I don't actually know who invented it.
Well, Certina also made a paddle watch. I wrote that one up. You can find an article back about a year or so ago. And if I'm not mistaken, Kustos is sponsoring a big paddle player as well. And he has a signature edition, which is ultra light.
A signature edition Kustos. For paddle.
Oh, yes.
There is so much that needs dug into in that statement. Dave, but we're not going to bother. Dave, because David can't be bothered. David, what's coming up in your watch week? Talk seriously about watches.
I'm just looking forward to some Embargo stuff from Geneva Watch Days in advance and see where that takes us.
I think we need to put David on the spinny wheel of death and just give him a chance that at some point he might just be put out of his misery or sent to sleep for 50 years. We should put us on the brand wheel of death.
3 weeks would be enough before this, for this heat to be over, and then I should, like a phoenix, rise up from my ashes.
How hot is it in Geneva right now? Because Geneva is, like, if it's hot in Hungary, it's going to be 3 degrees warmer in Geneva for sure. With all these old hotels with no air conditioning, it's going to be horrible.
It's mid-30s there. Severe high temperature warning. Okay, great.
Yeah,
we've had that for like 2 months now.
Yeah, well, enjoy that. When is Geneva Watch Days?
Early September, very first day.
So it's heading our way quite quickly. Good stuff. Right. Well, thank you all very much for joining us. Hold on. We'll put up the world famous artistic impression QR code. If I can get the system to work, because Riverside, the app, there you go. The Scan Me code, as if you didn't know what to do with the QR code. If you want to join or get an invite or be carefully selected, curated, we will curate you as to whether we're going to let you into the aBlogtoWatch Weekly WhatsApp group. It is a very limited edition, but no erotic art is required for your entry. But we make some choices as to whether we like the cut of your jib, so whether we decide to let you in. But you can scan that QR code if you find us somewhere on video and join in the Ask Ariel Anything section, where he particularly enjoys wrist shots. And if you have a wrist shot of an erotic watch that you care to send him, I know he's particularly keen on those. So over to you, the good people, to find your erotic...
do not represent my statements.
Erotic watch wrist shots just for Ariel. So other than that, thank you all for joining us. Thanks for joining us in the chat, and we will see you all again very soon. Cheerio! Bye-bye!
Bye, everyone.